Now, with the so-called nuclear option, Republicans would change Senate rules to do away with the filibuster for Supreme Court nominees. They then could confirm Judge Gorsuch by a simple majority vote. Elaine?
Well, Jan, Judge Gorsuch won unanimous approval by the Senate when he was up for appeals court judge in 2006, and Chuck Schumer was among those senators who approved him. Is Gorsuch too far out of the mainstream, or is this Democratic opposition mostly due to Republicans refusing to consider President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland?
Well, I mean, Elaine, I think they're going to argue both. I mean, you're already seeing them saying he's a radical, he's an extremist, he's not in the mainstream. What they haven't found is like really good examples of why. And so that's what they're looking for now, because that goes to the second point. They are so angry about President Obama's nominee, Merrick Garland, not getting confirmed, not even getting a hearing to replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia. So it's really kind of a two-pronged rage that they have. I think this would have always been a fight. Even if we hadn't had the obstruction from the Republicans last year and refusal to confirm Merrick Garland, but this is just fueling the fire. So you're going to see this drag on for quite some time. I mean, you've got outside groups urging Democrats to do everything they can to block Judge Gorsuch, and it's kind of now going to be on Judge Gorsuch to show his judicial conservative philosophy and his demeanor that would be one that would be acceptable.
Well, if confirmed, how would Judge Gorsuch impact the balance of the court?
And not at all. And I think that's a big argument for Republicans, and it's going to make it very difficult for Democrats at the end of the day to filibuster this nomination, because he is replacing a conservative giant, you know, like a conservative legal titan in Justice Scalia. So when he goes on to that Supreme Court, it won't change. I mean, the balance of the court will stay the same. You're going to have 4 liberals, 4 conservatives, and then a justice kind of in the middle, a moderate conservative, Justice Anthony Kennedy. And that the fact that that will kind of preserve the same balance in the court does take away from the Democrats' argument.
And we've discussed with you before, Jan, that President Trump is likely to get a second Supreme Court nomination. Are there any signs that Gorsuch's nomination will impact Justice Kennedy or Justice Ginsburg's interest in retiring?
Well, I think that, you know, there has been some thought that Justice Kennedy, who has been considering retirement now and was widely expected to want to retire this June or next June, would be looking to see how the Trump White House handled this nomination. What kind of justice would they seek to put on the Supreme Court? Would it be kind of an elite, establishment, traditional conservative, or would it be someone that was kind of unconventional, you know, a highly unusual pick? And we saw President Trump obviously going with someone with the, you know, the most stellar qualifications, the highest respect and reviews from people who've served with him on the bench. That is a nomination that Justice Kennedy would find very comforting. And remember, Judge Gorsuch clerked for Justice Kennedy. So if he's thinking, okay, this works pretty well, I could retire in good conscience knowing that the Trump White House would do the right thing with my replacement, you could argue, if you believe that theory, that it worked pretty well. Justice Ginsburg is a completely different story. I mean, she is probably the most liberal justice on the Supreme Court. She will not retire unless she has to. She will stay on that Supreme Court and hope that perhaps a Democrat would go back into the White House and be able to replace her in 4 years.
All right, Jan Crawford for us. Jan, thanks very much.